the communities of Marysville, Olivehurst, Linda, and Yuba City. Your new Q Community radio station. 93Q.
Coming to you from the Hart Building in historic downtown Marysville. Getting into all the dirt from the gridiron game, it's time to huddle up with your host, Adam Avalos.
More pride. That's right. I mean, God, did you understand? When I say this is a special group, this is a special group. And by the way, this is just the beginning. Yes, sir. This is just the beginning. Yeah. All right, because now the idea will be down the road. All roads go through Detroit. That's the way we got to think, man. That's the way you got to think. But, man, when you can win on the road like we just did to a team that is doing everything they can to get in, man, it speaks volumes about who we are and what we're capable of. I couldn't be more proud. I'm serious, man.
There is head coach Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions, who won a must-win game last night, if you ask me. That's as must-win as it gets. I mean, obviously they weren't eliminated if they didn't win the game. They have a good record, but the stakes for that game were so high, guys. I was watching that game, and I'm thinking, man, it just seems like the loser of this game, they're getting kind of a raw deal for how good they played. But Dan Campbell and the Lions, they've been hot all season long. They win the game last night over division rival Minnesota Vikings, and they take the number 1 seed. That means in the playoffs, they will not play this week, and the Vikings, I believe, they drop all the way down to the number 5 seed. They got to play the Rams in St. Louis. No, Los Angeles. I'm just kidding. But anyway, just want to see if you guys are awake. Welcome to the show, guys. Huddle Up on 93Q. We are so glad to have you. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here with us. Want to go to Kelly first. Kelly, first thoughts here. I was kind of thinking that was going to be a closer game, but 31-9, Detroit beats the Vikings, and they have the 1 seed now. What do you think, Kelly?
Well, I was surprised with the Lions' defense. Most of us was thinking that was their weakness, right?
Yeah.
All the injuries on defense. We expected the Minnesota Vikings to be able to run the ball, pass the ball, do whatever they want. But after the first half, the Lions' defense shut them down.
What did you think about Gibbs yesterday?
He was unstoppable. He's so electric, though, you know, how he was able to get through. I liked his patience and his vision, but once he's seen a hole, he exploded through the holes.
Yeah, so 23 carries for 139 yards, a career-high 3 rushing touchdowns, and he caught 5 passes for 31 yards and another score. So he had 4 scores yesterday. That's a lot. If we were still playing fantasy football, that would have been a heck of a day, but fantasy football is over. The Montgomery injury is definitely going to hurt them. I mean, it's better to have that two-headed snake, but Gibbs, an electric player, and if he could stay healthy and keep banging away through the playoffs here, and now they got that bye, so they have one less game they got to play, they're looking pretty good. What do you think? The Lions, Gibbs had an awesome performance yesterday, Keegan.
Yeah, no, I think it was a very impressive performance again from the Lions. They're kind of showing that they can win a few different ways. I think defensively, I was also a little surprised at how well they did, considering how many people they've had out.
Yeah,
they got some penetration, some pressure on Sam Darnold. They did really well in the red zone. They were really not able to score. Darnold was 18 for 41.
Yeah.
He was just getting constantly hurried. There was a lot of balls he threw kind of into space with no one really around them. I thought it was very impressive from them.
Before we go on, because I know, like, for anybody who's watched the show of just us, we spend week after week after week here. We play fantasy football. I know you have Darnold, and I know he was a little bit of your guy. You feel like the reason why I say that is because you go through a whole fantasy football season with some players, and you have them on your roster from start to finish. You kind of feel a little bit of a kinship by the end of the season. You know, like you've went through some roller coaster stuff. But what did you kind of think about Darnold? And did it kind of like? To me, if the game would have been close at the end, I would have said, okay, like the next time that they see each other, it's going to be kind of a really, really good game. But the way the Lions kind of handily kind of got rid of them, like, are the Vikings, is this something to cause for concern for Darnold and the Vikings if they have to play them again? Will they even be able to compete with the Lions?
Well, I mean, it was, to be honest, it was quite low scoring for a long time.
Yeah, it was.
And then they kind of opened up. I think a couple Gibbs runs kind of broke it apart.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed to see the Vikings' run defense was pretty poor.
Yeah, it was.
And it really hurt them, whereas they didn't really establish the run either, which I think was a problem. I still think the Vikings are a good team. I think Sam Darnold has played well. I would have liked to. I know the commentators kind of chatted about it, maybe giving him some easier looks and get the guys going. Kind of what I think we saw with like the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Kind of like just sort of a toss to the side and let the little yak go on.
I think though what really affected them was Aaron Glenn. They decided to go man up on those receivers.
Yeah.
Like no one had the audacity to do that all year long. Mm-hmm. Like you got to have some cojones to say, hey, I'm going to put Justin Jefferson on an island with one of my corners.
Yep.
And then that Addison kid who's been explosive all year also. I think that was the biggest thing in that game. And they talked about it on the telecast, how they kept going man and just blitz and blitz and blitz.
Well, and the Rams are going to see that, and they're probably going to try to emulate some of what they did, right?
Oh, definitely.
Want to go to Chunk a little bit. Your takeaway on the game, Chunk. What did you think about that? The Vikings coming into this game pretty hot. They got weapons. We're thinking it's going to be a close game. Come down to the wire there, and then the Lions kind of take it to them and take the 1 seed.
Yeah, my hat's off to Ben Johnson. That guy been his amazing play caller this whole season. Well, I mean, I've had Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. In 1 week, they'll go off. 1 week, Gibbs will go off. 1 week, they'll go off. And they're just using everybody on their roster. Their defense is surprisingly did well yesterday, and they held them what they needed to do. Hopefully it transitions because I don't want to see the Vikings go any farther.
Yeah. I think no matter what our final, thought is on the Lions at the end of the season is that no matter what happens this season, I think very impressive for them to be in the situation that they're at, 15-2. What game was it when they lost Aiden Hutchinson? I mean, that's a big deal. Like, that's a huge deal. That's like top 5 positions on your team that you probably can't lose is your defensive pass rusher like that, and they haven't really skipped a beat. 15-2, one of the best records in the NFL, and they're getting that number 1 seed. Wanted to ask you guys before we skipped out, what do you got to say, Chuck?
No, I was going to say it's the first time in the Lions history that they're holding the number 1 seed.
Yeah, first time ever. Yeah, first times in Lions history they're holding that. Wanted to ask you guys, there's nothing that can be done. When I thought about it, I thought, well, what is fair? But when I was watching the game, it seemed kind of crazy to me that they now have to go to play the Rams, and they had such a good season, the Vikings, and it could have been if it worked out a different way, they might have to go play the Buccaneers and stuff like that. But does this seem fair that the two teams play each other, they're both 14-2, and one team loses and now is the 5th seed and has to go play away games the rest of the playoffs? I mean, what could they do? Is there anything that you would even suggest, or this is just the way the rules are and this is how it's got to be played?
They've always rewarded the division champions.
Yeah.
So.
And it makes sense. I mean, because you play that division, and then you can't always it's an easy way to say I guess how good you are within your division or your divisional record because you played those teams head up a bunch of times. So what did you guys think about that? I just felt like last night whoever was going to lose that game, I was thinking if the Lions ended up losing, they've overcame so much and they had such a good record, for them to have to be the 5th seed and go and play an away game just seems so unfair. So same thing with the Vikings. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they just need to get better.
Yeah.
Get that number 1 seed. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Just get better.
It was week 6 for Hutchinson.
Yeah, week 6.
That injury. So it's been a long time. They've been playing without him.
Yeah.
I worry a little bit about just on the Vikings there that they're going to play the Rams, and the Rams have a pretty good defensive line, and they run the ball well through Kyron Williams. So I think that if we see the same thing as last night, I worry about that.
Yeah, we're going to go.
So, do you think that week off is going to help as well for the Vikings? Because that must have been a brutal defeat right there. And getting into their head, do you think they come out of that and bring it around and are ready for the playoffs? Or do you think it's going to be kind of bad?
The Vikings lost. So
exactly.
So they're going to come into next week. And one good thing about it is they're going to be fresh. And you always see this, every single year, the teams that get the number 1 seed, it's not really a good thing for them in the first quarter. A lot of times you do see a lot of cobwebs, and it takes that team a second to kind of get back up to speed with the team that played the week before. And so that is probably a negative for the Lions. But the positive is that they'll get to rest. And eventually the game, it'll equal out, and there won't be that huge advantage for one team that had the week off.
It'll help people to get some bumps and bruises healed and stuff like that.
No, yeah.
David Montgomery's going to try and play in that playoff game.
Yeah, so that'll be cool to get some guys back. Who's another guy that was fighting to come back? It's like, oh, I saw it today. I was like, man, how can that guy come back? Oh, it was some guy I saw on ESPN. He's like rooting for the playoffs to keep going longer so he could jump back into it. But I don't know. I forgot who it was. But anyways, so so awesome matchup last night. I was kind of rooting for it to be a closer game, but pretty cool. It was one of the only games yesterday besides, I guess, the Cincinnati Bronco thing that still needed to be decided yesterday. But awesome. We're going to talk about the playoff matchups in a little bit. We're going to talk about our brackets. We all filled them out for the playoffs, but want to get to this coaching carousel before we head to commercial break. There has been a lot of coaches that have been either in or out. Some people got fired yesterday. Yesterday, Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson, finally, we were kind of talking about it all year long. We were wondering how he was still remained hired there. And also the Patriots fired Gerard Mayo. Kraft said Monday, I feel terrible for Gerard because I put him in an untenable situation. I know that he has all the tools as a head coach to be successful in this league. He just needs more time before taking the job. Those two guys got fired yesterday. Chunk, what do you kind of think? You got a problem with any of those firings or just?
Just.
Yeah,
in my
just.
opinion.
Yeah, we kind of thought, how did Peterson make it this long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what? Any thoughts from any of you guys about either of those two firings?
I thought Gerard Mayo should have had at least another year.
Yeah.
They gave him 1 year with a rookie quarterback. You know, they started off with Brissett.
Yeah.
And then they went to the rookie halfway through the season. They didn't have a great roster. So what else was he supposed to do?
I kind of think they played a little stingy. I thought they played some teams kind of tough there at the end. And if I was a Patriots fan right now, I mean, obviously you had the Tom Brady thing for like 20 years, but the last few years have been kind of a bummer. But I'd be rolling into next season with a positive outlook on things. Drake May and whoever they
and Vrabel.
And Vrabel. So that's who you think they might go after?
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny because we're getting to that.
Good move.
Yeah, we're getting to that too. Who else did they fire? Dennis Allen got fired earlier this season. Matt Eberflus, your boy, and Robert Saleh. So there was five firings, head coach in the NFL. Seahawks fired offensive coordinator Grubbs yesterday. Is there anyone else, any other of the teams? I got the teams here that I think maybe, but somebody that's in line for a good firing. The Browns, the Titans, the Giants, the Raiders, the Saints,
the Cowboys,
or the Panthers, or the Cowboys. None of those teams, no firings there. Any surprises on any of those teams that you think somebody should be fired on that list?
Dable, Giants.
Dable with the Giants, yeah. Actually, he's been my cool kid like once or twice, but I actually kind of like Dable. I don't know. He's just playing with house money, and he must have a great relationship with the owner because the owner just like has his back because the New York Giants are not good, and they've been a mess this season. And apparently, he just gets a get out of jail free card for it. So
it was 18, 32, and 1. Like how do you keep your job when that's your record?
Yeah,
I don't
that
understand.
Sounds like
it.
Aaron Rodgers' record.
I want to go to Chunk here, but Antonio Pierce I had him a question mark guy, but they asked him yesterday about his job. He said, I haven't been told anything different, said Pierce, who was wearing at the moment a throwback Raiders starter jacket at the podium. That probably helps a little bit. If you're on the edge to get in and then you're wearing some cool Raider swag, they're like, I don't know, he's rocking my swag. I keep him, but he said stuff like that's only coming from outside speculation. He hasn't heard anything inside the building. To me, there is nothing to clean up until I hear from outside the building. What do you want? You want to keep Pierce next season?
Personally, no.
Whoa, fire him, huh?
Let him go. I don't like how he handled the whole Devontae Adams situation, liking posts that saying that he was going to be on his way out. He played his last game. The way he just held his press conferences, I didn't like that. He's just coming in with the head down, just doing his thing. Which he should just come out with the same energy every single time. 1 week he's super high if he wins, and then other time he's super low, and you can tell.
I don't have the quote in front of me, but Jacoby Myers and O'Connell really sang his praises yesterday. Or do you think that was like standard line?
You got to. They vouched for him last year.
Exactly.
Devontae Adams vouched for him last year.
Yeah.
And now he's like, I want traded. I want out of here. Antonio Pierce is my guy. Halfway through the season, never mind.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
my guy. I want out. Bye.
Yeah,
I don't like how they're doing it. I don't like how they're running it, which is a huge tell to me. Some people.
I personally like Pierce. What do you guys think? Out or you're a Raider fan, so what you think holds the most weight here? So what you think? But Antonio Pierce, keep him. Davis.
Either
with the
or.
haircut.
You know, I'm not very invested in the Raiders.
Yeah.
I like seeing the train wreck, you know, so.
Yeah, but if you actually want to win games, do you think he's good for your
head
franchise?
coaching matters. Look at the other three
head coaching
teams.
matters.
They're all in the playoffs.
Right.
Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers. All those head coaches are great. They're in the playoffs. Chargers just got the Harbaugh last year. They did have a good roster that our GM built last year, even though he got fired. I mean, took them to the playoffs.
So take Pierce out. Who do you want?
Well,
Yeah, that's the thing. Who do you want? I like that question because people will do that, but then they'll just get some nobody, and it's not better.
Vrabel or Ben Johnson. Get Ben
Okay.
Johnson out of it. He said as long as the
Yeah.
team's willing to let me do what I need to do, I mean, just let it go.
The problem is you can't go start talking to other coaches
Yeah.
before you fire
Well,
them.
because-
it's like if you talk to a girl, you'd be like, "I like you. You're pretty cool, but this chick over here, she's kind of a baddie. I just want to see if she's into me." And I'm like,
Pierce
you know what I mean?
Pierce hasn't heard anything right now that he's the head coach.
Yeah.
They might just be waiting for that. They might be requesting or trying to talk with each other to figure out what they're going to do. If they haven't came out yet and said he's our guy, then something's going on.
Either way, I think Pierce gets not a head coaching job, but he's going to get some kind of coordinator job.
Yeah.
He deserves a second chance. I'd like to see him I'd love to see him as like a linebacker coach or something, or D coordinator on even
I wanna see
like
him
the
be
Niners or
coordinator
something.
Probably go back
Niners
to
need
the
to do that.
Giants.
Yeah, he was a great player. I remember him all those years with the Giants, and he was really like that glue guy. He was kind of like a Greenlaw, maybe not such a hard hitter, but he's very savvy on the Giants and things like that. The Patriots, they're going to start interviewing potential coordinators. They have a meeting with Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, and like you said, they're probably going to bring Vrabel in.
It's Vrabel.
You think Vrabel's getting it no matter what?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Just because former Patriot.
That's what I hate about the NFL, because they always say, "Oh, we're gonna go through our due diligence.
Yeah,
and
they
we're
gotta
gonna interview like 6 coaches." And they already know who they're gonna. Come on.
Yeah. Or they have now what is it, the rule where it's like you have to mix in like certain ethnicities.
Yes.
Like, how would you feel like I'm a Mexican dude, but then they hire 5 dudes. They've already picked Vrabel, but they're like, "Hey, Adam, come in. We need to interview." they're like, "Oh yeah." And they don't ask you any questions. They're like, "All right, you're good. Get out of here. We met our quota."
Hey, now they can just do a video. We'll do a video interview.
Yeah, we'll do a Zoom call. Don't worry.
Don't even come.
Don't even come. They're just meeting quotas. Yeah, for sure. No, but I know what you're saying. But yeah, Mike Vrabel, he would be a good fit over there. Rex Ryan, real quick before we go to commercial break, because I did a deep dive in some of these. I wanted to see who
For the Jets, right? He's
Yep.
interviewing
Yeah.
with the Jets.
And so Rex Ryan's scheduled to interview Tuesday for the team's head coaching vacancy. And he said on TV that he's convinced he's going to get the job. So I don't know if somebody's already told him or what. He was already there before. Remember when he was there before?
Yeah.
And he was a heck of it with Mark Sanchez and stuff. But he said if hired, he would absolutely put an end to the country club environment Aaron Rodgers has created if Aaron came back. Clearly, when you have a guy that doesn't show up for mandatory minicamp, and by the way, he's your quarterback coming off injury, I think that's an absolutely ridiculous message that you send to the team. So Rex Ryan kind of already saying, like, if I'm gonna head there and Aaron Rodgers is still gonna be involved in any shape or form, like, it's not gonna be like it was the last 2 seasons.
If they hire Rex, you know Aaron's gone.
Gone. Yeah. And then we got Mike McCarthy. Multiple sources said the Bears have sought permission to speak to Mike McCarthy regarding their head coaching vacancy. McCarthy's contract expires Wednesday, but the Cowboys hold exclusive negotiating rights through January 4th. After that, McCarthy would become a coaching free agent. Kind of crazy there. I'm kind of surprised that Jerry Jones stuck with McCarthy so long.
Yeah, me too.
But free agent coaches, just some big names: Gruden, Bill Cowher, Robert Saleh. He's probably going to go somewhere. Bill Belichick. Those guys. You think any of those guys come back to coaching?
Belichick's in North Carolina.
Yeah. So none of those guys. Gruden.
I think Gruden might, but it hurts me.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they kicked him out of the league, and then I was just going to come back just fine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah, I would be miffed about that, too. He's kicked out. Now he doesn't even have to apologize or nothing. They're just like, oops, sorry. But anyways, we're going to go to commercial break. Come on back. Huddle Up on 93Q. I'm Adam Avalos with eXp Realty. I'm a born and raised third-generation Yuba Sutter resident who has lived in the area all my life. My office is located at 1429 Calusa Highway in Yuba City, providing commercial and residential services to Yuba Sutter and Butte counties. Whether you are buying or selling, I promise to treat you and your friends and family like my friends and family. More information about Adam Avalos Realtor can be obtained by phone at 530-933-3541 or by following Adam Avalos Realtor on Instagram or Facebook.
As we enter the rainy season and hope for rain, but not too much, we are thrilled to say that in Yuba County, we've made a ton of progress in improving our levee system and reducing our flood risk. But there is still much more to do. At Yuba Water Agency, reducing flood risk is job number one. We are preparing now for more frequent extreme storms. We're already seeing them. And we just want you to know that we are working hard to reduce your risk even more. Learn more about what the future holds at yubawater.org.
Said this morning, people close to him I know are preparing for the fact that this could be, in fact, be his last game in the NFL. What is your reaction to that?
People say they were close to me?
Yeah, people that Ian talked to, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a relationship with Ian. I'm not sure who does in my circle, but it's probably nobody that's talked to me in the last short while. No offense to Ian, of course.
Aaron Rodgers, man, he's such a stinker. He's just like he's like the old neighbor that you had as you were a kid when you throw your football over his fence, and it's just like every year he's getting more crotchety. It's like, dude, just throw me the football back, man. I don't need all this attitude, bro. Like, I don't know. He just seems to not be enjoying the game of football to me. Like when I look up, and then I wonder, like, why did you come back? Like, you're already rich enough. He was dating movie stars. He's obviously polarizing enough. He's got a Netflix movie. He could do the Pat McAfee thing. He could do anything that he wants. He just seems to not be enjoying himself. Kind of comes out that Aaron Rodgers, this might be his last game. We've talked about it a lot. I know you guys all think. I just have a hard time thinking he's just going to walk away. It was funny. Right before I came here, I was thinking about something that I thought Keegan might get a kick of, because I know we all think that he's going to retire. I actually think that he might come back one more year. But, like, I know Kelly thinks he's going to retire. He's not coming back. But you think maybe like yesterday's game, when you go play golf, and golf is such
a... you hit that par on the last
exactly. You hit that one that makes you want to keep coming back. You hit 100 strokes, 99 of them are terrible, and then you pure one, and then you're like, dude, I'll be back tomorrow. You know what I mean? You go spend like $800 on clubs after that. So it doesn't make any sense. But I was kind of wondering if, yesterday he looked pretty good. Threw for 4 touchdowns, walked off the field. He said, "Oh, that was pretty cool." When they asked him, all the Jets fans were kind of screaming his name and stuff. So do you think there's anything yesterday, like that last little performance he had, might get him back in a uniform, Kelly?
I mean, I believe he thinks he can still play. I mean, his ego is of such, but he's terrible. I mean, he was a great quarterback. I mean, I don't like the guy. I just don't like his attitude. But he's not the Aaron Rodgers who he thinks he is. Yeah. And even if, just look at with the Jets, right? His record was 6-12. One of those victories wasn't even his. He got hurt in that 2023 game, the first series. Yeah. So they ended up winning the game. It was Zach Wilson came in relief and played 95% of the snaps, but they gave the victory to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. So if you look at Aaron Rodgers, his percentage, he was 29%. If you add that one game, he's 32%. And Zach Wilson was at almost 40%. Yeah. So they were better with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, they will. You're right.
So my thing is...
There's not much defending him. There's not much of that at all.
And he had more talent. because he brought in Adams. He had
the
Wilson.
Brees Hall got injured last year.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, there's just really no excuse. And a lot of it seemed like it didn't even have to do with talent. It had to do more with just like sulking or just being in a negative. Anytime you're just negative, you're not gonna play as good. If you're just in a funk. But he became the 5th player to throw 500 career regular season touchdown passes. He said after the game, "I just need some time away to think about my future in the game and my future here. If they want me to be a part of the next phase or they're ready to move on," Rodgers said, "Either way, I'm thankful for my 2 years here." Gary?
I was just saying, even on that Netflix documentary you were talking about, he just seems like he's getting more and more pessimistic.
Yes.
And I wonder if that pessimism is actually influencing not only him, but the players that he's playing with. And that's kind of like it's
a bad environment.
It's some bad juju, and it's just making it so they can't really get into that groove to actually have a great game.
Well, you want to know what I think? You know what I think? Is that sometimes when you're in a position like he is when you're in the public, I think a lot of times it's just better if these athletes just kind of keep their mouth shut and just kind of keep it to the sports, because it opens up a whole Pandora's box. I think he's done stuff over the last few years, whether it be about political stuff, religious stuff, just all this stuff. He says how he feels about it, and there's no problem with that. It's just you're opening yourself up for a lot of criticism from people. And when he does stuff, there's lots of guys in the league that aren't playing good, but Aaron Rodgers, he's just more polarizing, and he does stuff like this. He's in a press conference and he's being snooty with the guy back and all this stuff, and so I don't know. He's put a lot of it on himself.
Therapy may help.
Yeah, therapy may help. What do you think? What do you think, Chunk, about Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think he had a good year.
Yeah.
But I think he might be his last game for the Jets. But in my heart, I feel like Davis is going to pay him to bring him to Vegas.
Really?
To put his name ever on. It's not something I want. It's not something I'm completely
Why
against.
would you not want it, though? How could it
He's
hurt?
better than any quarterback we've had the last few years. I mean, it's sad to say, but I think he would pay him the money to get him over there, to put him in Vegas, get butts in those seats again, and possibly have something.
If I'm a Jets fan, I'm not mad that the Jets brought him there. In fact, I'm happy. At least you tried, and it didn't work out with him.
That's
but
what I'm
you're going
saying.
for
But
somebody.
in my heart, that if he goes anywhere, it'll probably be Vegas, because they were already talking about it before he went to the Jets, and to put him there and bring butts back in seats and maybe have get the fans back into it, because they need to get those fans.
The only thing I was thinking, has there ever been a quarterback? We're not talking about traveler, a guy that's been on multiple teams. What do they call that when you're on
journeyman?
Yeah, journeyman. That's the word I was looking for. We're not talking about journeyman guy, but we're talking about Hall of Famers here. Have there ever been a Hall of Famer that has left and then come back to play for their team but only played one season? You normally got to do it 2, right? 2-3 seasons.
That comes back and play for.
Yeah, Brett Favre, when he played for the Jets for 2-3 seasons, then he played for the Vikings for 2-3 seasons.
Oh, okay.
So
for
Aaron Rodgers, he's got to decide if he comes back to the Jets, maybe he could play one more season. But if he comes back to any other team, in order to give them a fair chance and learn the playbook and ingratiate yourself with the whole entire squad and everything, you almost got to pay multiple seasons. You think he's got that left in him?
Well, that's what in Vegas. If he has 2 years, right? Vegas doesn't have anything right now.
Yeah,
we don't have an offensive coordinator, so he can come in and do what he wants.
Get Devontae back?
I don't think Devontae would come back. I think Devontae's going to go play with Carr if he goes anywhere with his old buddy. But if he doesn't leave with Rattler, whoever's there.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler. Yeah, it's been so crazy.
I don't think he'll come back. But if they get rid of Pierce, and then just if they bring somebody else, or even keep him, just bring in the veteran quarterback to run it.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be somebody that's out there. We'll see what happens in the offseason for him, if he comes back, if he doesn't. We are going to get into a segment of the show, one of my favorite segments. We've done it all season long from the very first episode until we're going to do it to the last. There's always going to be a cool kid. This is a segment of the show where we throw on some glasses in studio, and we choose one player, coach, team, announcer. Joy Taylor was going to be mine today, but I was told not to do it. But no, we're not allowed to talk about that on the radio. But anyways, the Cool Kids Club, it's just one person. You initiate yourself into this club. We honor you from doing some awesome acts this weekend on the football field. Who you got, Chunk? Who's your Cool Kid of the week?
Finishing up the season with Brock Bowers.
Let's go.
Getting all those rookies for the Raiders.
Yeah, let's go.
Breaking Mike Ditka's record, breaking their rookie receiving record.
Yeah, Mike Ditka.
Mm-hmm. Took it from Neighbors. Neighbors got it this year? Or was it last year? He's a rookie this year, right?
Neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had it, and then Brock Bowers overtook him.
Yeah.
And took it all with the quarterback that he had, did wonderful. And then my backup's Mike Evans. I don't know if anybody had him. His 11th season with 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he was my boy last week. I didn't know that he was up for that this week, but that was awesome. That was kind of cool how they did the play. I actually have. We're going to talk about that next segment. So Mike Evans, awesome. George Kittle too, man. He's an honorable mention just because we're talking about tight ends. He had such a good season. But Brock Bowers, man, rookie of the year probably, man. This guy, Jaden Daniels, right?
Yes.
Jaden Daniels going to win it. But any other year where there wasn't a quarterback like that, Brock Bowers is tearing it up. Who you got, Keegan?
So kind of sticking with the Tampa Bay theme, mine is actually going to be Liam Cohen and Todd Bowles.
All right, I like that.
For getting that catch for Mike Evans, that 9-yard catch, so he could break the 1,000 yards. He could get the $3 million incentive and obviously tie the record with Rice.
I was thinking about that earlier, and it's like, I hate to bring that up on the show because I should be more prepared for this, but the Atlanta game, was that the 10 o'clock? And then was the Buccaneers game the 1? Because I was thinking when they did that play, what if the Saints would have picked it off and ran it back for a touchdown, 2-point conversion, tied it up?
Yeah, that would have been pretty awkward.
But I think maybe the Atlanta game was over already, so they knew they could do that. But
no, they were playing the Saints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I know, but if the Saints would have picked it off, especially too, if you watch the play, it's kind of like, I think the Saints kind of let them. I think it was who was that guy we were talking about 2 weeks ago? Brett Favre and it was a Michael Strahan situation. You know what I mean? I think they might have let him get it. Like the two guys literally played patty cake with Mike Evans to tackle him. But yeah, I like that. I like that pick. Who you got, Kelly?
Bo Nix, kind of like what you were saying earlier. You get a guy on your fantasy team, you kind of get him.
Yeah, especially when you probably drafted him super low, and then he paid off in spades for you.
I actually picked. Remember when I told you when you dropped him?
Yeah.
So I was in another fantasy league, and you traded him? Or
yeah, something? I traded him. him. Yeah.
So I was like, when I told you keep Bo Nix, get rid of Carr. Yeah. I actually got Nix off waivers, and he took me all the way to the championship game, even though I lost. But still, I mean, he played awesome the second half of this season, and if it wasn't for Daniels, he's going to finish in the top 5 for Rookie of the Year.
The Broncos, they're not boom or bust, and you've got to be just like ecstatic if you're a Denver Broncos
fan. Especially what people were saying before the season, like why they draft this kid.
Yeah.
And he came out, even though he's playing against backups, 321, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that's been his stat line almost every game.
Well, that's like the Purdy thing to me that gets me to come back to be like, just pay the kid all the time, is if you're in a situation where like the Broncos, where you ain't had a quarterback since like Elway, that's been worthy of note, it takes a long time to get that dude. And so, Bo Nix is that dude. I can almost promise you he's that dude. I don't know. I think he's going to be top 5, maybe even top 10, but he's a serviceable quarterback that's going to be their starter there for probably a long time. And that feels good to know that you got a quarterback, because when you don't have one, you're just spinning wheels. I mean, you're not going to win a championship. Even if you make the playoffs, you're not beating anybody of note. And so you got to get that quarterback. So the fact they got Bo Nix, he's awesome. Yeah, he's had a great season. I really like him. I like his mannerisms. My cool kid is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had another awesome game. He did what he was supposed to do. He won the game. Cincinnati just sucks. And I got some advice for you, man. Cincinnati sucks. They're a poverty franchise. They're never getting any free agents there. So Joe Burrow, you're going to have to do it all yourself. Look over at Josh Allen. That's what you're going to have to be every season just to be able to get into the playoff mix. He had an MVP season that was ruined because the Bengals are so inept. I want to just go over his stats super quick. He was first in passing yards, 4,918, fourth in completion percentage at 70.6, first in touchdowns, 43, third in total QBR, and third in pure passer rating, all while being sacked 4th most times in the NFL. I can't see it another season. It's already hard enough that he's not even going to be in the playoffs. Joe Burrow should be. He needs to leave the Bengals as soon as humanly possible. I don't think he will. He doesn't seem like that type of guy. He's probably just going to go there and take his lumps. But when it comes time for him to sign another contract, he should not stay there with the Bengals. That's just my particular take. You guys have anything to say about Joe Burrow over there?
No. He had a great season.
Yeah, heck of a season.
If it wasn't for his defense, he'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they don't really have much of a run game either. That Chase Brown guy came on, but I don't know. They need to help him out. And he's probably going to lose Chase, right?
No, I think they'll sign
no,
Chase.
Higgins.
They gotta keep
Higgins.
one of
He's
them.
going to leave Higgins.
Truthfully, I think they really need both of them.
Yeah.
I think it makes a difference. Even when Higgins went off injured, you saw that he struggled a little bit more to try and find that second receiver, because a lot of the time with Chase kind of getting the attention, Higgins finds himself a little bit more open. He can contest for the ball as well. He's a good player, man. They need him.
The only thing, teams always think they can get a second receiver out of the draft. You know, if they got a number one, they think they can bring in one of these high-profile rookies and plug and play them. But they'll realize when Higgins gets on another team, just like A.J. Brown, they're going to realize what type of talent he is.
Just because we don't have you on the show all the time, and I want to ask you about a wide receiver that you were hyped on at the beginning of the season. I don't think it was his fault, but what do you think needs to happen with your boy Marvin Harrison Jr.? Like, are the Cardinals, are they limiting him with the quarterback? What do we got to do?
So
here?
did you see the last game?
Or is he not as good as we thought?
Did you see?
I didn't watch.
Did you see the touchdown? Oh, you didn't watch.
No, I didn't watch the last game.
The throw that they threw to him in the end zone where he mossed the guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's who he is. He's a big body, wide catch radius guy. You just throw the ball up to him. If there's a guy on him, it's just like the guy we got now, Smith. It doesn't matter if there's people around him.
Yeah.
Throw the ball up. He's going to come down with the ball.
Yeah.
And I just don't think the Cardinals, they didn't use him the way they should have.
But is it a Kyler thing? Is Kyler not seeing that he's getting open and burning guys on the route?
It's a coaching thing, right? Okay. Because if you watch some of the games, he's either manned up or wide open running down the field on numerous occasions.
Yeah, I saw him wide open quite a bit.
And they just don't look for him. Maybe he's a rookie and, you got to earn your way into it. But I tell you what, you put him on a team with Joe Burrow or someone like that who knows that, hey, I'm going to give this guy a chance. He's going to have double-figure touchdowns every year.
No, yeah, they got some weapons too. The running back with Connor, and then that what's his name? The tight end dude. That boy.
McBride.
That guy is crazy. Yeah. I didn't see I turned the game off. That was the first 49er game. I turned the half off, so that's why I didn't see the end of it. McBride. That guy
only had one touchdown. All year long, one touchdown.
Yeah, but he caught a lot. He caught a lot. Them seams right up the middle for like 50 yards. He caught a lot of them, dude. He caught
Put him with Mahomes, he'd have 20 touchdowns.
Yeah. So, just curious about that since we're talking about. Want to get to these Seahawks prank real quick before we get to the Seattle Seahawks prank this rookie with a fake dinner receipt. And I don't know, you guys know, like in the NFL, like there's like rookie hazing and stuff. Like they throw them in a trash can, or mostly they make them like carry their pads out to practice and their cleats and stuff like that.
Donuts.
Yeah, donuts and things like that. But they took this rookie out. I don't have his name with me right here, but they took him out, and the receipt afterwards, they told him, you have to pay because you're the rookie, a bunch of veterans, and it was $156,000 with a tip of $23,000. The funniest part is we don't have the capability to show you, but the funniest part is like the video, the guy's face.
Byron Murphy the second.
Yeah, like his eyeballs are like, you could see him like going down it, and then when he gets to the number at the bottom, you could almost like, if I told you, tell me the instance when he sees the number, you could tell, because he's like, whoa, like that, and you could realize, he is realizing he's probably not going to be able to pay for that. But among the actual bill, that was a fake bill, by the way. The actual bill though was a healthy $38,000, 15 cents and 15 and 82 cents, $38,015.82. Let me say that right. But among the highlights of that bill included 8 shots of the Zeus 1969 Scotch, $1,200 a piece. 8 shots of that, and $8,000 worth of Louis the Fifth brandy. And there was a glass of Sprite on there for $4.
I saw that. I think it was his.
He just gets a Sprite. The final gratuity charge was $6,300. What do you think, Chunk? What do you think? Is that a cruel prank on this guy?
No, it's funny, brothers. Brothers doing brother things.
I didn't get to see it. Did this guy end up paying the $38,000, the real one himself?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because he does make money. Murphy, who's 22 years old, is in the first year of his 4-year rookie contract worth $16 million. He'll make just under $3 million this season. Poor him. And his paycheck will grow each year until he's owed $5.1 million in 2027. Wow. So that guy makes 3 times as much as Brock Purdy, and he's complaining about this. Brock Purdy bought his guys trucks. But that's kind of crazy. What do you think about the pranks, Kelly? You ever do any hazing when you played football? with the freshman or whatever?
Nope, but I would have done with
The way he said it was like, yeah, I definitely did, but I'm not incriminating myself here. The way he said it was like I was a cop.
Me and my cousin,
never do anything.
we used to go to a restaurant with a bunch of people. We'd be like, all right, we're going to the restroom. We'd be gone.
And then you'd bounce?
We'd be gone.
All I got to say is that's a lot of dishes to wash.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Chunk? Any hazing going on your football days?
Oh yeah, the old good old power sit up, the blindfolded power sit up.
What's that? Blindfolded power sit. I'm guessing your face goes into something you don't like?
Yeah, it goes into someone's butt.
Right.
You don't see what's going on.
Fair
Can't go sit up blindfolded.
Into a Rikishi. We're going to go to commercial break. Come on back for the third segment. Huddle Up 93Q.
Young Champs Athletics Academy is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping young athletes excel in speed, agility, and overall fitness. Their mission is to provide a safe and nurturing environment where young athletes can grow both physically and mentally. Through training sessions, 7-on-7 competitions, full contact camps, and more, Young Champs aims to foster the champions of tomorrow right here in our local community. Young Champ Athletics Academy will be having a crab feed fundraiser on January 11th, 2025 at Live Oak Community Center located at 10020 O Street in Live Oak. More information about Young Champ Athletics Academy may be obtained at the Young Champs Athletic Academy's Facebook page or contact Gabe at 530-300-8908 or Art at 530-713-9214. Young Champ Athletics Academy is a proud sponsor of Q Community Radio.
Here's your local weather forecast from community-supported 93Q. Tonight, our skies will be mostly clear with a low around 43, and winds out of the northwest will increase to 11 miles an hour and gust as high as 21 miles an hour. Then sunny tomorrow and breezy with a high near 61, and winds will be from the northwest at around 15 and gusting as high as 24 miles an hour. And Wednesday will be mostly sunny with a high near 61. Dry conditions will persist through the week. Our high temperatures in the valley will climb into the upper 50s and low 60s with mostly clear skies. And breezy northerly winds will continue through tomorrow evening, then become lighter by Wednesday. And we could expect these dry conditions with few changes to continue into the weekend. And that's your 93 Community Weather Forecast, made possible by Yuba Water Agency at yubawater.org, investing in Yuba County and protecting and enhancing the fish habitat on the Yuba River. For 93 Community Radio, I'm Kurt Baird. Thanks for your support and have a good evening.
Conversation was like, all right, well, obviously we can't turn the ball over, can't give them another chance, but how do we want to formate this play to get Mike the ball to where he can't get double covered, and that was what we came up with, and Mike did the rest, and he deserves that. This guy means so much to the community, this team, this organization for years, and for him to be able to reach that feat 11 years in a row and tie Jerry Rice is it's unbelievable.
So that is Baker Mayfield, the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday. We were all kind of talking about it at the commercial break, but they did something pretty cool for Mike Evans yesterday. He 11 seasons in a row with 1,000 yards. That's so insane, mostly because of the longevity of it, but then also the availability. The best ability is availability, right? And in order to get 1,000 yards, you got to be available. That means he's been playing in some games. But what did you guys think of, because we don't have the capability to show it, they kind of did like a little screen pass. He kind of came in motion. They did a little screen pass. To me, it looks like the Saints guys kind of maybe a little bit let him have it. I don't know. I think he probably would have got it if he was just fighting. He only needed like 5-6 yards. But Mike Evans, he's been a consistent guy around for the last, decade here. Obviously won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, but one of the better wide receivers in the NFL, a veteran. What do you think about that move to get him to have him tie the record with Jerry Rice for most consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards or more at 11.
Good for him. I'm just wondering if it's going to turn that whole sack situation we had earlier this year. Favre letting someone have it if the other team let him have it.
I know. Yeah.
But good for him. I mean, he's a baller. I mean, he played like 14 games out of all and still got 1,000 yards.
Yeah. I don't really love to see padding stats, but I think he was close. It's not like they did like 50, gave him 50 yards or something. You know, they gave him one pass play. What do you think, Keegan?
I think he was probably glad that Lattimore doesn't play for the Saints anymore.
He would have been like, I don't forget your record.
But guess what? They play next week, him and Lattimore.
They do. But Baker Mayfield said he always puts the team that's why you love him. We're lucky to have him. He's underappreciated throughout the media of the league. He is a one of one. He deserves that. You saw the stadium erupt after. You saw the sideline erupt. You can tell how much people care about him and what that means for everybody around him. So awesome for Mike Evans. He's a fan favorite. I don't really know anybody who says, Mike Evans guy, I just don't like him. But all right, so that we got 15 minutes left. We're going to get to it all here. Tyreek Hill, another wide receiver. We got a wide receiver who's doing everything right in Mike Evans for the last decade, and then you got wide receivers who are doing everything wrong. A lot of wide receivers this year, from beginning to end. This whole radio season could have been the drama of the wide receiver. I mean, it seems like every week there's one of them. But Tyreek Hill, he wants out. Yesterday after the game, kind of out of nowhere, I didn't know that he was unhappy over there. I mean, maybe it just all clicked because they were like bounced from the playoffs yesterday. But what do you think, Kelly? Tyreek Hill, he wants out?
Yeah, I think it's because, he was arrested earlier this year. They threw him down on the ground, roughed him up.
You think that has to do with it?
He's got a
little salty about that.
He's had a bad year in Miami.
Exactly.
No, but of course, when you're Tyreek Hill and you're used to playing with Mahomes and winning and all that, and now he's seeing the Jamal Chases and all these receivers, they're putting up big numbers, and guess he had less than 1,000 yards.
But he would have put up big numbers. His quarterback just got hurt. I mean, legitimately, if he wants to be mad at anybody, he can be mad at Tua and not mad at him, but like he keeps getting concussed, and then his quarterback who launches the football is not there to play with him.
Right. Well, that's kind of one of the things I think that's probably led to the frustration for him this year, because obviously Tua went down, he missed all those games, he came back. But the offense of the Dolphins has been playing differently to what we've been seeing over the. Last year he went for almost 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns, average depth of target was 15.1 yards.
Yeah.
This year he had 81 receptions, 959 yards, average depth of target 11.8, and 6 touchdowns.
But how many games did Tua not play?
What was it, like maybe 6?
Yeah.
6, 7, something like that. But regardless, even when he was playing, he wasn't doing what he was doing last year. Last year, Tua would kind of like rock back and hit him deep.
Yeah.
And he'd do the same thing with Waddle. Both Waddle and Hill didn't have that this year. It became more Achan, the dump off to Achan, or up the middle to Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
So
I guess they'll just, some people's situation is really dire, or like it's just not cool anymore. Like the situation with Devontae Adams, I could kind of see it. He came there to play with a certain quarterback, and then the organization changed things. Every single thing that they told Tyreek Hill was going to be there is still there. He plays in Florida, so he doesn't have to pay nearly as much taxes as some of those guys. So he's probably the highest paid wide receiver, and it's like his situation hasn't changed. His quarterback coming back next year, he'll fling him the ball. I just don't understand this from him, really, at the very end.
His situation did kind of change because of the way they used him. So if he doesn't feel like he's integral to that game, he still wants to compete. He's 30 this season.
Yeah.
Maybe he feels like he's got a couple more, but he wants to actually get into the playoffs, and he's feeling frustrated that he's not there.
Yeah, he can't trust Tua to stay in the game.
Cancun while everybody else is playing.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Like if he legitimately feels like I don't even trust Tua to keep feeding me the ball, then that's fine. But I don't know.
Well, even just to stay healthy, if he doesn't think his quarterback can stay healthy, he gets touched by a pillow, he gets a concussion, then, it's football. Get out of there.
Yeah, for sure. He said, I don't even know, bro. This is my first time. I haven't even been in the playoffs. He said, for me, I just have to do what's best for me and my family. If that's here or wherever the case may be, I'm about to open that door up for myself. I'm out, bro.
Do what's best for his family. He's already making $50 million a year.
No, I know. Yeah, he's
that makes no sense.
I agree with that.
What he's talking about is, I want to be more competitive. I want y'all to see me do what all these other good receivers are doing. He's upset that he didn't have the year that he's not the top receiver right now.
Plays in Miami too. I mean,
Right,
probably
exactly.
the coolest place you could possibly.
Woe
play
is
in.
him.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him. But anyways, it's just crazy to me, man. Like, this is something that moving forward. I mean, obviously, I'm not a GM of a franchise, but I think you got to kind of change the way you're looking at these wide receivers a little bit. You just can't, you just can't bend the knee every single time one of them asks for something and asks to be traded, especially when the situation isn't that bad. Devontae sat there for years while the situation was, or not years, but a little while. He saw it, and he's like Jimmy Garoppolo. He didn't need to see much of that to know that he didn't like that. But anyways, it's crazy. I don't really love the Tyreek Hill, like at this point of the season, calling out his team and teammates and stuff like that, and potentially wanting to get traded. But that's just me personally. Last thing, this is the most important thing in the show. I saved the best for last. But fantasy football is over. Chunk, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, brother. It hurts. It happens, man. I know, man. I know. You made it to the championship game,
It took like 7 years to get to the championship and to lose it.
How much did you lose the championship by? How many points?
Like 20 points, 30 points.
Oh, so it was a stomping.
It was because T. Higgins.
Yeah.
That makes it better, Gary.
Yeah, because, sometimes when you get stomped, you're just like, whatever. Sure. Sometimes when it's close, it's that one stings harder.
Yeah, I was lucky. I was lucky in our playoffs. I was like happened real quick, and then I got beat so badly I didn't even need. I think I scored 81 points. That's terrible. Yeah, it's so bad. But anyways, so that's over with. But we are going to continue to do this show. Well, we don't do it for fantasy football, but football. We're going to do it till the end of the Super Bowl, and we watch football all year long. We're not going to stop now with the playoffs. We're going to watch the playoffs. So what we are going to do, and I'm really excited about this for a few reasons. So what we're going to do is a bracket challenge, just kind of like if you've ever done March Madness or anything, but essentially it's the NFL playoff bracket. We're doing it on ESPN. I wanted to say that because anybody, if you want to play and you're listening, anybody can play with us. You can join our league. We'll get you the information. If you just message any of us on the show or anything, you can play with us for free. We're playing for a little money. I think we're playing for $20 or something like that. If you want to play for money, you can play for money too. But you go on ESPN and then they have the bracket there, and then we're all just going to pick who we think the Super Bowl winner is going to be, and the winner in each of those games, and the winner gets the money. I mean, that's pretty simple. But what I wanted to do even more fun than that is we got like 7 minutes left. I wanted to go over the Super Bowl bracket with you guys. I don't know if you filled yours out yet. I filled mine out, but I want to tell you who I picked each game. We're not going to sit here and analyze too much over each one, but we're just going to go over who we got. Okay? You guys ready to do that, or you guys need time to sit and mull it over?
Let's go.
All right, so first game here, we're going to start off on the AFC side. We got the Texans versus the Chargers, the 4-seed Texans versus the Chargers. Who you guys got? Go around the table. I got the Chargers in that. I mean, the Chargers, they're playing at 1:30 p.m., I believe, on Saturday is the 11th. Chargers versus Texans. Who you got?
I got Texans.
All right, Texans. You got Texans?
I got Chargers.
All right, Chargers. Who you got?
I got the Chargers.
Yeah, I got.
Ooh, I sting a little bit.
I got the Chargers too. Who are you going to take?
I got the Chargers on that one too.
Chargers too.
Good.
All right. Go. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you want to be a little bit different. We got the Ravens, the number 3 seeded Ravens versus the Steelers. They play Saturday at 5 p.m. Ravens versus Steelers. Who you got? I'm going Steelers, guys. Let's go, baby. I'm going upset.
Ravens.
Ravens.
You're down bad on that one.
Yeah, let's go, baby. All right, and then the big whopper of that, or it's not that night. I guess it happens Sunday at 10 in the morning. Bills versus the Broncos. The number 2 Bills play the Broncos. Who you guys got? I got the Bills. I'm not choosing the Broncos.
I got the Bills.
As much as I like,
everybody's got the Bills.
Okay, all right, cool. So on the other side, let's go to the NFC. We got the Lions got the bye, Chiefs got the bye, so they all advance. So Rams, Vikings, who you got there? This is going to be a close one.
I got the Vikings, but I'm scared of the Rams.
Yeah,
I'm the same way.
Yeah. Me too. And I chose the Rams.
Yeah. I got the Rams.
Yeah, all right. Chunk got the Rams.
I went with Rams as well.
All right, so Vikings magical season, but a few of us got them being one and done. That's why I thought it was so important for them to win last night, because you do not want to play the Rams. That is the worst poll you could have got, is playing the Rams, because they're going to be playing with house money, just going after it. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Koopa, that's them too. They're going to have a baby. And he's gonna
King Koopa's coming out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Buccaneers versus the Commanders. I got to know what you guys think about this.
I got the Commanders.
I'm going Buccaneers.
I'm going Bucks with you.
Let's keep the magic alive.
I got to go Bucks as well.
All right, Bucks. All right, Kelly.
That was a
Kelly,
close
if some
one,
of these ones win, you'll be...
Jaden Daniels, I think he's the truth. So I think
I like him too, but Baker Mayfield's got that magic right now. Dude, and the scoring too is 300 points per round. So it increases every round. So it's like 300 points, 300 points, 300 points, for a total of 1,200.
Okay.
And then obviously who picks the winner gets the 300 points. But okay, so Buccaneers, Commanders. Now we're at Eagles, Packers. Anybody choosing the Packers on here? Or are we going Eagles across the table?
I think it's Eagles.
I think it's Eagles.
Packers one and done, huh?
Eagles.
Man, for as hyped as everybody is there. Well, so now I can't continue doing the bracket challenge with you guys because we all have different. But I'm going to tell you guys what mine was, because I had the Steelers. You guys can tell me, I guess, if you feel you can fit it in here. It's just now our brackets look all different, right? But I have the Steelers playing the Chiefs. Dude, I don't even want to tell you guys. I got the Steelers beating the Chiefs, bro. Let me tell you something. I think the Steelers are going to come in here and just lay waste to people. Then I got the Bills versus the Chargers. I got the Bills going in that. So I got the Bills defeating the Steelers in the AFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl. Over on the NFC side, I have the Rams playing the Lions. I had the Rams beating the Lions, bro. I don't care, man. I'm going with the Rams all the way.
Oh, man.
And then I got the Eagles versus the Buccaneers. I'm going upset on there, too. I'm taking the Buccaneers to beat the Eagles for the NFC Championship game to be the Rams versus the Buccaneers. Rams beating the Buccaneers, and the Bills to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. Bills-Rams in the Super Bowl.
You either going to finish first or last.
You don't like that. All right, well, go around the table. Tell me some of your guys'. Who do you feel like you're going to have here at your final Super Bowl prediction, and who wins it?
I took chalk. I got Chiefs versus the Bills, Lions versus Eagles, Lions versus Chiefs, Lions winning.
Ooh.
So you got Lions versus
Eagles
in the Super Bowl?
No, Lions versus Chiefs.
Lions versus Chiefs.
Okay, I see.
And then I got the Lions winning it all.
All right, Lions winning it all. Your boy Brian will be happy about that. What do you got, Keegan?
Yeah.
So I've got in the AFC Championship, I have Chiefs versus Bills to take it. Lions versus Eagles to take it, and then Bills in the Super Bowl.
Sounds good. And then you guys will see there's like a tiebreaker thing. That right there, I had to do some math. But see, it wants you to total points
for all
13
the
games. Yeah, 13 games. I was like, all right, I had to bust out my calculator.
All right, playoffs, okay, then 13 times.
I got a Bills-Lions Super Bowl.
13 times
winning?
65.
I want the Lions to win.
Lions?
I want the Lions to go
all right,
for it
cool.
all.
Who you got, Gary?
I got Chiefs-Bucks Super Bowl.
Chiefs-Bucks? Yes,
I got the Bucks to win, baby.
Let's go,
A
Gary.
repeat.
Yes,
a repeat of Super Bowl was a 50.
Oh, that'd be crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Can you imagine your Patrick Mahomes
No.
and you got beat by the
56,
GOAT and Baker Mayfield? Yeah. No, for sure. So if you guys want to play that, just DM me or something. We're on ESPN. We're playing for money, not for money. It doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. But DM us. I think we already got like 10 people playing, so it'll be fun. We always have fun when we do stuff like that. Thank you so much for joining us. Huddle Up on 93Q.